this past weekend, obviously you see the title of our show, being number one in all phases of the game. We dropped the ball on that this weekend. Florida A&M did. Now, I didn't know, and I don't know if you guys knew, that the naming of all the U.S. News and Report stuff was coming out on Monday. So I don't know if all this was because we were focused on planning that plans and things got dropped going into this weekend. But it was a host of we'll call them errors, some questionable communication that happened all throughout the course of this weekend, from the tailgating fiasco and the late notice of information regarding tailgate, which sent social media buzz on Friday, to the long lines on Saturday. When we pulled up on the spot, Kelvin, leaving the tailgate, we had no idea we would be looking at long lines like this at 5:50, 5:55.
5:30.
Yes, long lines like this were at 5:30.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. And this is the west side. You can see the lines that are running. Talk a little bit about what happened, Kelvin, as best as we've been able to uncover.
Well, in terms of the long lines, the biggest issue, it appears, was that you only had 2 scanners at each gate, and you only had 2 gates open in each area. So on each side of the stadium, there's a north gate, a middle gate, and a south gate, and that doesn't include the gate that goes into the north end zone, and then the gate that you can come in through the field house. So there's several access points. But in terms of people who actually have tickets being scanned, those gates are the north gate, the middle gate, the south gate, and the north end zone gates on both the east and west side. And so, you have an opportunity to know what you don't know. You have people who have done this before. You had people on your team when you got here who've done this before. But you got to value institutional knowledge. You have to value it. Because if you don't, fiascos happen. Had you maintained the folks who had some of this institutional knowledge, had you sought out other folks who've done this, you could have avoided some of these things, right? Tailgating on the hill has happened as long as I can remember. And tailgating in the South is a huge thing. We just went to pro stadiums in Miami where folks were able to tailgate at will by their vehicle. We just went to Tampa.
Yep.
And tailgated with no issues, no problem. With nobody telling us where to go or nothing. You pay your money, you pull in a spot, and you set up shop. All right. But the fact that the area you chose to mess with is even crazier, because those people on the hill are your investors in champions. The very same people that you went up on price for, even though you have less games. And then you got 2 games that are not traditional games. Now, you just told people that we're not going to the OBC in the future because we want to have more home games. This is how you're going to treat people? You're investing in champion people at that. And then deny a $500,000, $600,000 payday to come and treat people like this and thinking that it's okay. Is that your excuse? That's your reasoning. You don't know. You got to pay your bills, right? You have to know that people don't work for free. That includes the folks who are your vendors.
Mm.
You have to pay them if you want them to show up, and you have to pay them on time. That should be a priority for you. You want to get paid, you getting your money, so of course people want their money. When you have people on staff who come to you, who have master's degrees and so forth, who's been doing this, and they tell you, I need to have a full-time position. I can't be OPS. I can't be part-time working 6 to 7 hours a week. Let me tell you something. Game operations in the best of circumstances with all of the resources that you should have, money, people, etc. It is challenging and it is difficult. It is hard. It's just like when we talk about winning. Game operation, 20,000 people in a particular area, the footprint of Bragg Stadium, to try to get all those people in and out and have a seamless, great fan experience. It's not easy. And the fact that you at an institution and how it's structured, where there's a lot of people, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, there's a lot of hands in the pot. You got one area doing north end zone. You got another area who's responsible for ticketing and scanning. You got another area that's responsible for concessions. When you have that many different chiefs and no Indians, this is kind of foolishness you end up with. Uninformed decisions and details being lost. So I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear no blaming. Oh, it wasn't me. You know, my daughters, man, when they were little, I owed them 2 older ones, right? I tell them to do something every now and then. And when I got home and it wasn't done, oh, they pointed fingers left and right. Well, I thought she was gonna do it. I thought she was gonna do it. And I said, and you know what I would do? I said, I'm gonna help both of y'all remember how to get it done. So, Larry Robinson, A.D. Sykes, I don't care who fault it is.
Amen.
You gonna get it. You deserve it. And I don't want to see this foolishness this weekend.
Amen.
I don't want to hear nothing. I want action. All right. Let me give you a little bit of advice too. There used to be 30 scanners for the gates. And the reason you had 30, even though you have 20, I believe 22 gates, is because perhaps one of your scanners goes out. It's not working. Or the battery goes dead. So you want extra so you can replace in real time those scanners and not impact game day operations. But you should have known this, or you should have had someone who know that, right? You should have known that 12 scanners is not enough for 20,000 people. And let me tell you something, it's going to be way more than that 17.9 this time. It's going to be a full house. So you better get it right, because I think the great Vaughn Wilson kind of gave us a preview about 3 weeks ago when he said, you are judged at FAMU by your game day operations experience. And unfortunately, game one